Okay, everybody just kind of trickles in. Who is new? Mary, you want to jump on? Hi, Mary. I haven't seen you in so long. Look at you. I think she's on mute. All right. Well, when Mary gets herself off mute, Evelyn, I know you're not on camera, but this is really cool that you're here. I told Angelique, our speaker, about you because you are the licensed mortgage person in every state. And I want the two of you to get to know each other. Who else is jumping on me here this morning? Hi, Evelyn.
Good morning.
I want to introduce you to Angelique. So Angelique Soto is our amazing speaker today. And she and I connected about 2 weeks ago. She is the CEO, founder of this company that I think is just going to blow everybody out of the water when they hear about it, Credit Snitch. And we were talking about mortgage brokers, and she said there's not too many mortgage brokers that are really well into what she does or supportive of what she does. So I said I would connect you guys and share your phone numbers. Is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
Cool.
I
Cool,
can't
cool.
get my camera to work today. I have a new computer, so it's like I'm playing fix these things.
Well,
Yes,
you'll get there. So,
I know.
anyways, Brad, how are you doing?
Morning, Peggy. Doing good. Just getting some stuff going here. Sorry.
That's okay. We'll catch up. Are you
Right on.
still high from the retreat?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So keeping it going
Yep. Cool.
for
Keep
sure.
it going.
Yes,
Stacy,
ma'am.
how are you there?
Excellent. I am like my creative juices are flowing, let me tell you. I am opening up to all these new things. It's fabulous.
So the retreat was worth it. It's
Oh
still,
my God, yes.
how are your happy cells
Absolutely.
today?
How's what?
How are your happy cells doing today?
Amazing.
Excellent. Tucker, how are you?
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, Tucker. Well, I am super excited to have you guys on here. And of course, this is recorded, it's put up on my YouTube channel. But as I started to say before, we have an amazing speaker. Angelique Soto and I were introduced to each other about 2 weeks ago. And you can imagine if she's already on Wake Up Wednesday, we just aligned with everything. And I mean everything. So she has this very cool company that you could, well, quite honestly, she believes that you're sitting on millions and millions and millions of dollars of buyers that you are just kind of tossing to the side and not paying any attention to. So I am going to ask Angelique to introduce herself because I think everybody needs an opportunity to brag on themselves. And Angelique, why don't you just open it up? And I am so blessed to have you here. I can't believe
Same,
there's
Peggy.
a schedule for this.
The synchronicities in life are great, guys. My name is Angelique Soto. I am the CEO of Credit Snitch, the unqualified buyers pipeline. Peggy, I cannot begin to thank you for understanding my mission. And I'm happy to share it with the group. I help qualify unqualified buyers. And it's quite exciting. We have qualified over 87 million in unqualified business for companies like EXP, the FIG team being one of our main preferred vendors, along with Century 21, BE3, and all of Compass for the most part. We love to help clients transform their credit reports and get into homes. It is the most rewarding position I've ever held in my life. I never thought I would be a CEO. I actually did not want this job. I tell a lot of people that. I am a huge advocate of credit education now that God has taken me down this journey. About 7 years ago, I went through a nasty divorce. My credit was shot. And I am a single mother, so it was very hard for me to get a new home and even an apartment. I had to live with my mom for a few months, which, as you could imagine, made me think about life in a very different way. I worked for CEOs at the time, Klein Davis and Mann, Adobe Systems, Publicis Group. I was the right-hand man to many CEOs in Fortune 500 companies in New York City, and not one of them understood how credit worked. I was blown away by the fact that no one truly understood the 5 factors that governed a credit score. I hired 2 people to help me fix my credit. They stole $3,000 from me and never did the job. I was desperate and angry. So I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube University and learned everything that I could. Some things worked, some things didn't. And eventually I met an amazing angel and woman by the name of Donna from Atlanta, and she taught me everything she knew. I then began to take my journey in fixing my own credit. After 7 months, I fixed my credit score, and I started to invest in Puerto Rico. I started arbitraging in Airbnb, getting about 8 properties beachfront, and replacing my ex-husband's 6-figure income in 8 months. It was the craziest time of my life. My family saw me on social media, being this depressed woman going through depression, pushing through and transmuting pain into my, as they say in current day, glow up, by going to CrossFit and really falling into myself and getting closer to God and transforming my life for myself and my daughter. I never thought that I would be in that position. My family saw what I was doing, and my cousin said, "Hey, could you help me fix my credit?" Then the whole entire family and friend circle started to come. I was introduced to a lender from Guaranteed Rate, and I transformed 2 of his clients in 30 to 60 days. He shot out an email to everyone in Guaranteed Rate, and there is the birth of Credit Snitch. I couldn't believe it. I had imposter syndrome. I didn't know if this was the path I wanted to take. I went kicking and screaming into leadership submission. I didn't want this role. But then once I got here and I realized I could help people unlock those doors and break through the glass ceiling like I did for myself, it was more rewarding than the fear I was facing. And I completely stepped into what I call my journey, my purpose. And it's amazing what God has done for me in my life. I don't know who's religious here, but I truly am. And I have a very close relationship with God, and I believe that he puts us in places where he needs us. And I've been very fortunate to change so many people's lives who are now not just clients, but forever friends. And they refer me business ongoing. It doesn't stop. I don't need to pay for lead generation. I am the conversation at Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything in between. I have changed people's life through credit education. I am a financial literacy educator, and I am certified. I also have my life insurance license, which I feel is really important to building generational wealth. I have learned a lot about finances, and I thank God for my journey. I go around talking to so many consumers and I would say brokerages about the importance of understanding that unqualified buyers may not be qualified now, but if we nurture them properly and build beautiful relationships, it is the lead that keeps on giving forever. God has taken me to really great places. I now currently work with an investment firm, and we're doing really great things where we can provide funding for major development groups. This is how far this has taken me. We start from 10 million all the way up to 50 million, changing so many people's lives in that area as well. And I never thought I'd be here, but I love what I do. And I want to continue to change people's lives and educate. That is my mission. So if there's anyone in this room who is dealing with credit challenges, I want you to know that this is systematic. This is nothing to be embarrassed about. It does not discriminate. I have clients from Chase Private Client who are millionaires and have credit challenges. And when people start to understand that, it changes their mindset. This is not a poor problem. This is a world problem. This is a United States of America problem, right? Systematically. So I educate through the 5 factors that govern a credit score. Not many people know them. Not many people know that one late payment can bring down a credit score up to 125 points. How many people knew that in this room? Put
I
a
do.
yes in the chat. Put a yes in the chat. Okay. And there's so many more things that a lot of people don't know. 92% of Americans are financially illiterate, according to FINRA. That's huge. And now that they have stopped the student loan forbearance, and now they're reporting the late payments, even more people will not be qualified for a home loan. And it is my job to remove those late payments through consumer laws that protect them. They're constantly violated by all these companies, data agencies that collect information about us and use it against us. And I hate to say it that way, but it's very true. It's very intrusive. It goes into the psychographic of the consumer. LexisNexis, CoreLogic, Innovis, and SageStream. They all gather information and data about us. And from the beginning of time, they even know when we're depressed through the algorithm and how we're spending. Isn't that the craziest thing ever? They gear their marketing strategies in AI to target us when they know we are up and down, when they know that we're spending more. They encourage the ads. It's unbelievable how sophisticated these companies have become. And they prey on the American who may be financially illiterate, dealing with emotional issues and overspending and so much more. Even our children and how they're influenced by what they're targeted by. So we have privacy rights. We can opt out of so many things that we're unaware of. And I tell my daughter all the time, opt out. And I'm the queen of opt out because I don't want anyone gathering data on me for free and making billions, because that's how much they pay for this information. So are there any questions so far? I know I've talked a lot.
Okay, so you and I have talked about this, so I have a little bit more because you have just brain dumped on us, and some of us are sitting here going, oh my God. So first of all, let's break it down, because every one of us, whether we are selling multi-million-dollar homes to cash buyers, or we are working with a first-time home buyer, or we're generational realtors, and all of a sudden we've got someone who, like yourself, going through a divorce in a family, their parents refer us, and we may not have ever dealt with credit. And it's so true that I don't care if you're a billionaire, your credit can suck. It does. Just because you have money doesn't matter. So if you would, Angelique, go to talk to us, dumb it right down. Talk to us about the 5 pillars and the 5 basics there.
Sure. And actually, I would love to
notes
share
there.
it. I would love to share it with you guys. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you should be able to. I don't have that.
Okay, great. And I want to share my screen with you guys. The 5 factors that govern the credit score. Can you see my page?
It's coming
No.
up.
Okay, let me try to get it.
There you go. I can see it.
Yep.
Okay, can everyone see that? Let me see if I could do this. Let me take you through this. All right, the 5 factors that govern the credit score. Okay, first one being the payment history, 35% of your credit score. All right, I tell everyone, pay your bills on time. It's the most important part of your credit score. And it is the highest percentage rating in the 5 factors that govern a credit score. Missing one late payment will have a bigger negative impact than anything else. And that's losing up to 125 points to your credit score. What I tell people is auto payment is your best friend. Okay. I understand people like to just pay on the dates. They remember, but life happens. And sometimes there's a death in the family or something, an accident, we become ill. It's important for us to have auto pay on, minimum payment 7 days before the due date, not on the due date, because sometimes the auto pay will automatically stop debiting. And I don't know why this happens. I have more clients that have accidental late payments than anything. Okay. So to avoid late payments, put it on auto payment, minimum payment 7 days before the due date. That way you have 7 days to catch it. After 3 days, it should have debited from the account. Okay. Another thing I teach clients is if you're stealing from Peter to pay Paul and finances and cash flow is low, you may not have the money in the account. It's okay. It will debit the account. You will get a late fee and a chargeback fee of, I believe, $30 to $40. I prefer for you to get those fees than get a late payment on your credit report, which will linger for 7 years. Okay, this is real. So I teach everyone these tricks. The second factor is credit utilization, 30% of your credit score. Try to only use 30% of your available credit. For example, if you have 2 credit cards with a $10,000 total limit, try to keep your balances to $3,000 or lower. Okay, this is important. When you are going for approvals, you want your credit score to be at its highest. Why? Because finance charges drop, right? The higher the score, the lower the rate. And that's what we want, right? So I tell all my clients, if you're not purchasing anything, it says 30%. I tell everyone 20. Why not? Let's be safe. Usually it's 30, but I bring everyone down to 20 and stay there. Okay. Now, what is really powerful is you always want to pay your credit card bills down the day before the statement close date, not on the due date. Okay. This is what a lot of people don't know. The due date by the due date, they have already reported the balance on the credit report. So if you pay before the statement close date, they report what you've paid down. So it's less. Therefore, your interest payment also will be lower that period. And if you continue to do that, you'll fall into what's called velocity banking. And if you don't know about velocity banking, it is the most powerful tool you could ever use to bring down credit utilization. If you have clients who are dealing with credit utilization issues, velocity banking is your tool. Okay, if you don't know what it is, then I'm going to say for you to book an appointment with me so that we can talk about it. Okay. Any questions so far? Peggy? Anyone in the chat?
Yeah, just give them a little snippet of velocity and why they should book an appointment with you, because everyone thinks, oh, I know all about credit.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
just threw out a word that most people don't know.
Of course. So velocity banking is when your credit cards are at its highest and you're living check to check and you don't have extra money to pay down your credit cards, right? A lot of my clients get stuck in that and they have to borrow from their 401ks to pay down their credit cards in order for their credit scores to come back up, for them to do HELOCs, for them to even purchase anything, right? In order to get back their healthy credit scores. Now with velocity banking, you don't need extra money. You're just paying before the statement close date, and you're using big credit card balances and throwing your income onto the credit card, bringing down the balance before the statement close date, and it's reporting to the credit companies that you have a zero balance, and you end up not paying the same amount that you would have paid if you hadn't done it before the statement close date. So you save substantial money on rates, and also you don't have to, every month, you're not paying the same amount on rates or that minimum payment due. It keeps lowering as the months go on. And it's something that I need to get into and show you so you could see how it works, because it's quite fantastic.
I love it. And someone asked in the chat, if your credit can drop that fast, how long does it take to get it back up?
It depends on what occurred. If it's a derogatory item, it could take you, if you don't have someone like me on your team, it could take you up to 7 years to remove that item from your credit report. If it's utilization, it could come right back up the minute you pay it all down to zero in 30 to 60 days.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Any other questions?
Let's keep going and then we'll.
Angelique,
Yes.
Yes.
I have to admit, this is Tucker Overstreet in Dallas. I have to admit that my credit was compromised and stolen in October of 2023.
I'm so sorry.
And I was awakened by Capital One, and they said, congratulations, Mr. Overstreet, your $10,000 credit card has been approved. And they said, I said, excuse me. And they said, however, somebody somewhere was trying to do a $2,500 cash advance. And I said, stop, stop. That's not me. And they said, that's why we're calling you. And I've told many, many people that next to your personal health, your credit health is the second most important thing in your life.
Absolutely.
And I didn't realize it, but 12 banks had accessed my credit from, I think, this one person that stole my credit. And I didn't realize that credit compromisation cost American consumers $50 billion a year.
Yes, it does.
It's
Thank you for
crazy.
highlighting that. It's
And
yeah,
thank you
it's
so much
huge.
for being on the mission that you're on.
Thank
It's
you.
outstanding.
Thanks, Tucker. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Tucker. Absolutely. That's unfortunate, but it happens to a lot of Americans. It happened to me as well. You know how your debit cards are compromised on a regular basis? That's a part of that. So we're going into credit history next. Credit history, 15% of your credit score. Keep your credit cards open, even if you aren't using them. A lot of my clients get tired of paying annual fees and they will close a credit card that had a 10-year history and their credit score drops at least 70 points. It's really important for you to understand that the length of history on a credit report could be your entire credit reputation. And in credit, it's all about measuring credit worthiness. Are you trustworthy? Do you pay your bills? And it's unfortunate when my clients close their credit cards because they lose all of that history. But the one thing that does remain are the negative items, and they still count, and the late payments for the next 7 years. But nothing else positive about your credit report, nothing about that line of credit will remain. It literally disappears. And the only thing left are the negative items, which I believe is not fair.
I agree. Angelique, I have a question on that because I've had this happen on a front gate credit card. I never used it. And then they closed it on me because I never used it.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do credit card companies do that? And is that negative on your?
Absolutely. It's negative on your credit report, especially if you've been using it for quite some time, you lose that history. And if you don't,
no, I've never used it. They
you
closed
never
it.
used it. Okay.
They closed it because I never used it.
It's probably a ding. It's a ding of 20 points that you could potentially get back in maybe about 4 months, but it's not a big deal if you haven't used it all the time and created a history on it. But the thing is, with credit companies, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
Why would they extend the line of credit to you if they're not making money off of you? It's a business.
Okay.
Right. So you have to use your credit cards. And a lot of my clients like to use their credit cards like charge cards, like Amex. You pay it down at the end of the month, right? Credit cards are not like that. You need to have revolving lines of credit going through, right? You have to leave a little balance so they can collect their little interest charge and then pay it back the next month to zero. That's the way I do it.
I've heard that.
Yeah, 1 month you leave a balance, 1 month you don't. 1 month you leave a balance, 1 month you don't. And the more they see you use your credit card, the more they will raise your limits. That's quite interesting. It's like gambling.
This is a full-time job.
It really is. Any questions about credit history? No? Okay. So credit mix, 10% of your score. Try to keep a good mix of different types of credit. Credit cards, student loans, auto loans, and mortgages all count towards having a good credit mix. It's self-explanatory. Any questions about that? Okay. New credit, 10% of your score. Try not to open a bunch of new credit cards at once. They result in hard inquiries, which lower your score, and they make you look like a credit risk. Okay. Now, the beautiful part about this, and I tell all my clients, you cannot use more than 2.5 inquiries every year. Anything more, and you will be flagged. Yes, you cannot apply for more than 2.5 inquiries every year if you want to be on the healthy side of that percentage. You want that full 10%? This is where you need to be. Anything more, let me tell you, I have so many clients who apply for auto loans. Auto loans are the death of a credit report. And I tell everyone that there's about 15 to 20 inquiries on a credit report.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold the same weight, right? It won't completely tank the credit score. It'll all still hold very small amounts of points, but those are still inquiries being counted against you. And when you go for that approval, it's going to be a lot harder to get it, right?
Mhm.
So, and this is the beautiful part. I tell people pre-approvals are your best friend. The pre-approval is your best friend. I love Capital One's pre-approval. I love Navy Federal's pre-approval. It's like a peekaboo, right? Peekaboo, let me see if you're worthy. And then what they will do is, oh, she's worthy. They will provide that line of credit, which is fabulous. And you don't lose your inquiries, right? Unless you accept the offer. And once you accept the offer, there goes one of your inquiries, okay? So that's why I tell my clients all the time, please be very aware of your inquiries every year. I have an American Express Platinum, which I love with all my heart and soul. It does so much for me. I am a spoiled baby when it comes to the Centennial Lounge. And there's so many ways to use credit cards. Use one and choose one that fits your lifestyle and spoils you like a baby because you deserve it, right?
I think you had a couple of questions. I saw Grace posted something in the chat, but it went away too quick. I couldn't see it.
Okay.
Can you
Hold
see?
on. Let me take a look. Thank you, darling. What did she say, Stacy? One payment can bring down a credit score 125 points. Okay, let me go down. Is there a disadvantage to reducing your credit amount? I've never heard of anyone reducing their credit amount. And again, is that the agency, the credit company reducing your credit amount? Or is that you requesting to reduce your credit amount?
That's me requesting to reduce the amount.
To
Say we
reduce, well,
amount
do you
of
have,
credit from 10,000 to 5,000 or 5,000 to 2,500. Is that
okay.
disadvantage for you as a,
Well, it depends, right? Does the credit card have any balance on it?
no, just the credit card's paid off.
Okay.
So my
No,
question is, having $10,000 in credit limit versus 5,000, do you want to have so much credit? Or
well,
is-
it's more access, right? Credit is a tool, right? So if you weren't born into a trust fund and you weren't born into wealth, credit is where you create that wealth, right? It gives you that platform. It's the stepping stone to building wealth. Will it hurt you to lower the scores? Yeah, because you have less access. I believe it's important for us to have as much access as we need, depending on what it is we want to create in our lives. Now, if you're okay with lowering your credit balances, I don't see anything wrong with it. I've never seen anyone do it. I've seen companies lower credit scores, but it shouldn't be an issue unless you have a balance. Now, if you have a high balance and they lower your credit balance, I mean your access, then what happens is your utilization then goes up, but that's not what you're asking. So it shouldn't be an issue, no.
Angelique,
Yes.
another thing that people don't realize is that a lot of companies do a soft pull on your credit to just look at you.
Yeah,
like
that's the pre-approval.
Like insurance companies.
Mhm,
So
the
if you've
pre-approval.
got a poor credit score, it could affect your homeowners and your automobile insurance.
Well, if it's a pre-approval, it will not. It's a soft pull. It's the hard inquiries that do that.
So also, I know we all tell our buyers when we are, counseling them, please do not go out and buy anything or open up a credit card. What about when you open up a credit card just to get a quick offer and then you close it? So that goes against the credit history, correct? That's
Of course.
don't want
Yeah,
to do.
you'll get a ding. You'll get a ding.
So you go
Because
down,
you accepted it.
getting a card and then closing it right away.
Yeah, it's a ding and it's a lost inquiry.
Boston.
And
Oh,
remember the rule of inquiry, right? So you want to be very, very selective with which credit cards you use.
perfect. I have a question that I didn't know, and I want to share it with everyone because you and I talked about it. Please go back and explain the student loans. I think there's a huge misconception on that. And then I have a second part to that. I don't know if they're still doing it, but doctor student loans I've heard are not counted. So on certain, like Bank of America, if you were a doctor and you had all these student loans, they didn't look at that for when you're a mortgage. And maybe
That would be a lender question.
Okay.
That would be a lender question.
So let's talk about what you were saying about all the student loans and relief and things like that.
So I have removed a doctor's student loan, and there were about, I want to say 12 student loans. I actually removed it from a credit report for a certain amount of time. That was exciting. And she lived in Miami and was able to buy a home because he couldn't see exactly how much money she was spending on her student loans. Student loans, that we had them on forbearance for quite some time, right? Through COVID. And they weren't reporting late payments. Then they lifted it and everyone started to go back into making payments into their student loans. But they still were not reporting the late payments until December of last year. Then last year they started to report the late payments. And now people are unfortunately seeing it's wreaking havoc on credit reports more than ever. People were not prepared to bring that into their budgets because not every American knows how to create a budget. And a lot of Americans, it's a huge percentage. I believe it's like 72% of Americans are at max with their credit cards. So there's a lot going on in the finance world when it comes to Americans. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions about? So just to clarify, if you were on a forbearance with your student loans or your children were, somebody who was
For COVID, yeah.
for COVID. So did that catch up with them? Did they report that those payments were made? How did?
Correct. Now, as of December, they started to report late payments. Yes.
So all those late payments that they thought were okay because it was under forbearance are now going to start hitting credit report.
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
from the point of December on that they will start to report late payments. December and back, no, they will
Okay,
not.
cool. All right.
Yeah.
Um,
And I see Valerie, what did you want to discuss for student loans, regarding student loans?
guys,
Is Valerie here?
and Mike yourself. Let's see who's here today. Okay, she might come back on. What else?
Okay.
What else do you think it's important for us to know? And then I want to talk about your investments and things like that because you've got
Sure.
so much going on.
You know, God's good and he puts you where he needs you. Well, I'm going to say these are the five laws. If you know these laws, you're good. You're good. You're always going to excel. I've been able to turn people's credit scores around from 30 to 6 months, 30 days to 6 months. We only focus on the disqualifying factors on the credit report. And how do I find that out? Is I talk to lenders and I say, hey, what is the system and underwriting saying are the disqualifying factors? It could only be 1, 2, or 3 things. I go into disputing, I go into teaching clients what they need to do, and we quickly start to raise their credit scores and get the negative items off the credit reports and send them straight into pre-approval. So that's the process, right? And the education as well. We have to have willing clients who want to learn, who want to participate, because we are not a credit restoration company. We are a financial literacy education company. Okay, we're certified. And we're getting to the root of the problem, which is the lack of education, right? So we're educating and empowering. And that's basically it. You know, this is the most important part. And you know, letting our clients know that we're credit friendly is another part of it, right? So many people are walking around embarrassed by what's going on, right? That's why I have, where's my lady with the face?
I love your lady with the face, that picture.
Yeah, like, why can't I get there? Wait, let me just, there we go.
There
The
we
lady
go.
with the face. Yeah, that was
It's
me.
on your Instagram.
Yes, that was me. And oh, and please do join my Instagram at Credit Snitch. We share really great news about what's going on in our environment. We also share tips and you know, we celebrate all of our clients. We have an amazing graduation program. A month before our clients graduate, we have a dinner, we record it, we get their testimony, and we highlight the fact that they've completed the program and they're fully literate in financial education when it comes to credit. You know, what's inside of our guide. We also have a free guide that you might want to share with your clients. What to expect when working with a lender, what to expect when working with a realtor, and the 5 rules that govern a credit score. It's important for our clients to understand the process, right? We throw all this information at them, kind of like the way I'm doing now to you guys. But having it in a book for them to actually read on their spare time or when they have a moment, and it really soaks in is what's important. And that's why I created the book. I needed people to feel supported, my lenders, my realtors, and also myself. I don't want to be the broken record repeating the same thing over and over again. So there's a lot of automations with my company, like videos. I love my videos. We talk about the 5 factors that govern a credit score. I'm super animated, don't laugh, and over the top, but that's what's required to keep attention. But it has all the information and all the personality, right? So, Shaggy, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I'm learning.
and being a New Yorker, that's pretty easy for us, right? So, you know, this tool is very important. This guide serves as an indispensable tool for realtors, lenders, and clients alike, providing a comprehensive credit framework, right? And we don't want them to be embarrassed. We want them to feel supported. We want them to feel inspired to go through the process and learn something that every American should know. It is our birthright, right?
So, what about all these credit companies? You've got Credit Karma, you've got Expedia, you've got everybody now on your credit card wants to give you a score, and all the scores are different. Can you talk to that?
Correct. So we have, oh my goodness, it keeps growing. I don't even know the number of how many scoring cards we have. We may have 9 now. And it ranges. It depends on the lender and what scoring card they've chosen. When I am restoring people's credit, I bounce between Vantage and FICO. Why? Because FICO gives me the true score to what banking and lenders are seeing. And then Vantage allows me to move the needle quicker. I don't know why it's like that, but that's just the way it's been for me as I've been restoring credit. And it really, you know, again, there's different scoring cards and every financial institution has chosen their scoring card. And you have the right as a consumer to ask a lender, a bank, a credit provider, hey, what is your scoring card? And you can find out where they're pulling from. And then you can do your due diligence to see where you stand in your credit score.
So is it worth people investing and paying those $20 fees to have, I don't know, what are they, Expedia credit? I don't know what they charge.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say Expedia only reviews Expedia. If you're going to choose something.
Not Expedia, Experian. I'm sorry.
Oh,
my bad.
I meant Experian. You're absolutely right. Experian only shows you Experian, right? TransUnion only shows you TransUnion. I believe it gives you an option to see the other 2 if you pay an additional fee. But I personally do not use that, but I do say, hey, have something in place, right? Like LifeLock, because there's so much fraud in the world, you might want to have LifeLock where there's monitoring all 3 all the time. And it prevents fraud, and it also keeps you in the know. It will send you alerts to let you know if your score has been affected or if it's increased or if any activity is going on that they feel is fraudulent, like being on the black web, the dark web, I believe, the dark web and all kinds of stuff. There's so much going on. But I would say LifeLock is one of the best. And then the one I use, which is Smart Credit. I have a promotion as well for Smart Credit. If you guys want to try it out, it's amazing. It shows me all 3, but again, it's on the Vantage system. So it really depends on what your objectives are. and you would want to speak to your lenders and your banking institutions. And if, you know, if you want to speak to me about it, I'm more than welcome to book. I'm more than happy to book an appointment with you guys to discuss that.
So we
I use Smart Credit and it's a great resource. I agree.
Amazing. Love it. It's the best thing ever created, if you ask me.
So one of the things that really caught my eye was all the closings that you're able to help people with. So we should
77.
77 people. And how did those realtors know? By education through this? I mean, because a lot of times, I'm sorry, we're snooty and we ask somebody and they say, hey, I don't have good credit. And, you know, we walk away from them.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can help. Cool. Does,
I help everyone.
does anybody else have any questions on the credit? Because I want to talk about her other businesses and investing too. There's so much. I can't wait for you guys to book a call with her.
I have one, Peggy. You mentioned, Angela, thank you for being here today. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
You mentioned auto loans being a huge, you know, impediment, I guess, on the credit report. Would it
Correct.
be wiser then to lease a car? Or does that affect the credit score the same way?
It will report the same way. If you're late, it will ding you. If you end that contract early, it will hurt you pretty much the same way. What I would say is when you apply for, when you go for a pre-approval for a car, I would say go to an institution. I would say go to your bank, go with whoever you have a relationship with. I would say try to get a loan there first and get your pre-approval with them. Because once you sign Section 21 of the dealership agreement, you're giving them permission to compete for the business, and they're submitting your information to multiple financial institutions to compete for your business and the best rate. And unfortunately, they run it through most of the time 15 to 25 times. It doesn't happen with every dealership. It doesn't happen with the luxury dealerships like Mercedes-Benz. That doesn't happen. If you tell them just run it once, they will. But in all the other ones, for whatever reason, I've seen some crazy stuff.
Thank
Cool.
you for that.
You're
I
welcome.
do have one more. You mentioned paying 7 days before the statement closing date. Would it be wise to schedule all of your credit card payments to be due on those 7 days prior to the statement closing date?
Yes.
Like if
Yes,
you're
because
like if your debt deadline, okay.
yes, because you want to avoid late payments, right? If you schedule your payments on the due date, say it doesn't auto debit, right? I've run into issues where Navy Federal, for whatever reason, didn't auto debit, right? And then I have to fight to explain what's going on with the banking system. And sometimes they don't care, right? So to safeguard your credit score, especially if you're thinking about purchasing a home in the next year, right? Or if you are a homeowner, right? Because you want to access your equity, right? And if you have a late payment, you cannot access your equity. So you need to safeguard that. So I tell my clients all the time, 7 days before the due date, and you have at least 7 days, right? You have at least 6 days to catch it before it becomes late. So you're safeguarding.
Yeah, I'm great.
I'll be good. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, Dee Dee,
You're
thank
very
you.
welcome.
Grace had a question about why is it a disadvantage to paying off your loan early?
Well,
I
it
think you
depends.
said a car loan
Oh yeah, car
or
loans is
lease.
like
Tell me
that.
about that. Because I
Yeah.
thought about paying off my lease and a light bulb just went off in my head.
Yeah, for whatever reason. And again, some things I feel in credit are not rhyme or reason. It's just a rule, right? Just like the late payment, just like, why is it that one late payment? There's no rhyme or reason. It just is. It's a rule. If you pay it late, I guess because they're expecting to collect money on the interest. Remember, this is a business. If they're not collecting the amount of interest they expected to collect, you're going to see it in how your credit score moves. So that's why it occurs.
Brad just typed something in the chat.
I may have missed this, but how can I get a copy?
I was looking for the guy that you just had up there. Can we
Oh,
get a
great
copy of that?
question, Brad. Yes. How do they get a copy?
You can actually go to creditsnitch.com.
Okay.
Creditsnitch.com. Everything is on there. Everything's automated. You can book an appointment with me if you feel like your credit score is challenged, and that stays between you and I. And I also offer 20% off to every single realtor. Going through the journey allows you to see what we do, and it's going to inspire you. And I look forward to that. And also, everything's on there from your clients to activating the unqualified buyers pipeline. Everything's automated. For realtors, the unqualified buyers pipeline. Let me see if I could share that with you guys.
Angelique,
Yes.
your phone number here is different than the phone number that's on your Instagram. Which one do we?
Correct. You can use either one.
Okay.
Thanks, Tucker.
Either one. Absolutely. Either one gets you to where you need to be. Give me 1 second while I try.
I'll also ask, so I'm in Canada, and I know that there's
Okay.
some differences between credit reporting here and the United States. How much of this, or do you know how much of this applies to us up here in Canada? Or I know there's some similarities, but
Yes.
I don't know
So no, it's
how
fine.
close they are.
For Canadians, if you get your new Social Security, I can activate it and have you at a 700 credit score. If you've never activated your Social Security and you have no credit history, I can get you to a 700 in 4 to 5 months. So that's what I've done for Canadians, and it's not hard for me. It's just it's a learning process, and I've done it quite a few times. And we also have a foreign national program, which we will get into shortly with Peggy.
I love that. Okay.
Thank you.
Grace had a question. Thanks, Brad. That's a good question about Canada. And then we're going to go into the foreign national because I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, we can't get out of it.
I know. All right. Last but
Question.
Grace, what were you asking?
I just wanted to share with everybody that my experience with credit card companies and removing interest, don't hesitate to call, talk to them, ask for removal of the late fee or an interest fee. And I have seen that credit card companies have been accommodating that way.
Correct.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's a
encourage
good-
to talk to your credit card company. Most of the
Great
time,
reminder.
Absolutely. And they're always there to try to help, right? And they're always willing to, because they want to keep your relationship for the most part, right? As long as you're not a habitual late payer, and you communicate with them. I've had clients whose husbands have passed away and they had life events, and we've had conversations with mortgage companies as well, modifications and reduction in interest payments for hardship, right? Magical word is, I'm going through financial hardship. Okay. And they begin to immediately work with you.
Cool. All right.
Excellent.
About the foreign national, because this is the money maker.
Oh my goodness, for national. Okay, so as I was working with Chase Private Client, I've made some friends there. They absolutely love what we're doing in converting unqualified buyers. And they've asked me, hey, Angelique, do you know how to potentially help a foreign national with their credit scores, or create them? And yes, again, going back to the Canadians I've helped with their credit reports, I help foreign nationals, EB-5 programs. So we have a full service EB-5 program with credential partners. We work with investment firms and several hedge funds to help fund EB-5ers. We'll bring EB-5ers in and bring them through the entire process, from creating their credit scores and credit reports, and also bringing them into investments and creating 10 jobs and more of the criteria that's required. We have an entire team. We have an attorney who helps our clients through the process. And we also have funding for developers. So if you have any developers who are looking for seed money, or to whatever it is, we start from 5 million to about $50 million. And we have hedge funds who are willing to look at deals and potentially fund them. And it's also connected with our EB5 program. So we have even more capital in the bucket, which helps us grow exponentially.
Angelique,
Yes.
I heard that the EB5 program was going to terminate at the end of this year. Is that
Well,
true?
no, it's not going to terminate. It's going to change. So right now, the EB5 program is asking for 800,000 to $1,050,000.
Right.
And when it does change into the golden ticket, it will be $5 million price point. That's what's going
Right.
to change about it, right? And
So
then
we need
all
to
the other
jump on it
criteria.
quick.
Yeah,
sooner
so
or
we
later.
have, yes, we need to very quick. And there's a huge demand for it, which is why the hedge funds and I are now JVing, because they saw what I was doing and they said, you know what, this is going to speed up the process and this is going to add value and it's holistic, right? No one's really doing it in the market. And we want to help EB5ers become invested in our communities, in our country, first of all, because that helps our economy. And we want to help them, you know, live the American dream, which is why a lot of them come over here. And we want to support that and help them understand how the credit system works.
So we have some newer agents, and will you just go into what an EB5 is? Because some people may not. And
Sure,
they
sure.
might ask the question.
So EB5 is a foreign national program. Our government allows them to purchase a visa to invest in our economy and create jobs. So it's I believe it's 10 employees that they need to employ, and it activates, you know, it activates the economy. It helps push forward the American dream, and even more so, you know, I guess creates jobs, which is really important in our economy. And you know,
And
a lot
it's
of people wanna come
$500,000
here.
per employee per visa.
Well, yes, for
Currently.
now, it's
Currently, right.
800,000, right? It's 800,000 in rural areas that need job stimulation, and then it's $1,050,000 in mid-level, right? But they have to be invested for at least 5 to 7 years in either moderate to aggressive investments, and there is risk.
And what other funding do you have besides that?
Oh, we do. We have it's called DTI. So, and this is not offered to everyone. It's offered to clients who are credit worthy, and they may need to access the equity in their homes. But as we spoke about earlier today, utilization is an issue. So their credit scores are low, but they are not habitual late payers. We will extend them a loan up to $35,000 to pay down credit card loan. They must sign a promissory note. And then once they have either sold or purchased the home, they're required to pay the $35,000 loan back, and it's done. It's very simple, but again, they must fit the criteria.
Okay, let's open it to this hour.
Spoke a lot.
We got 7 minutes left. I can't get over, and I'm watching you guys taking notes here.
A lot.
Evelyn, our trusted mortgage person who shows up every single Wednesday at 6 a.m. in California. I love my California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Evelyn, are you still there?
Oh, I am, absolutely.
Okay, so give us your opinion. What do you think?
Oh, it's spectacular. It's having, I deal with a lot of clients who have used credit repair companies. Okay, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And it's a quick fix, they give them wrong information. They're not going by the laws that you can get them off, and they do much more harm than they do good, because there was, I can tell you, being on the mortgage end of it, disputing accounts isn't going to work, because they've come back and said, no, if you're disputing too much, you have to undispute it, because when you're disputing it, it's kind of putting your FICO score in a hold pattern. It's not looking at the whole thing. So get with somebody that's going to help you long term is what you want. We don't. I love them. I'm definitely going to hook up with her because it's having somebody that's in that wants you to become a homeowner. They want to help you. They're not just taking your money to take your money. And there are so many companies out there right now that are doing this horrible job and not fixing. And I can tell you, National Debt Service, I mean, they're just killing people's credits for I mean, it's horrifying, the stories. They're in worse shape than they were before. As sad as it sounds, that National Debt Service, you would have been better off filing bankruptcy than to use that company. That's how bad, because you're not with the right. So this is great having somebody that in your backyard helping you and teaching you. You're right. A lot of people don't understand this.
You know, it's a full-time job.
Well, I know.
And
I'm doing that and shrinking stuff too with clients. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, you want to try to help them, and in a lot of cases, I'm not kidding. People will come to you like, hey, they see a lot of things on ads, and we're starting at a 550 and a 560. You know, it's like it's tough, but it can be done. But we don't give up on them. You know, you put them on, you get them with somebody that can work with them for 3 to 6 months and come back, and then like, hey. And you are correct. A bigger score helps out a lot.
And this, what I love about what Evelyn is saying is because she lives in the same town I do in California, in Orange County, just because we live there and the entry level house starts at $1 million, that doesn't mean people have good credit, guys. That doesn't mean everybody's showing up with cash. So we need to be educated when we are representing our buyers on the buyer broker side right now. We have to have every tool we possibly can. This is such an added value for someone to want to work with you and sign that buyer broker form. This isn't just about having Angelique come on and talk about credit repair. This is about giving you the ammunition so you can stand in your truth when you say, hey, I'm the best agent to work with, and here's why.
Yeah.
You've got everything covered.
And I'm sorry, Peggy.
No, I was going to say, I love, just go back a little bit slower about how you loan up to 35,000. So everybody gets this. This is huge.
Yeah. So I loan people up to $35,000 to bring down credit card debt. It's that simple. You find a client that says, my credit cards are too high. I just don't have the money to pay them down, and I have a low credit score. It's your job to say, I have the solution. I have a home buying success team that can walk you through your challenges and help you get to the signing table. That is what I'm offering you. I'm offering a home buying success team, and we're concierge. That's what we are for you. And we do it for the FIG team every day. And we have a beautiful workflow over there. And the first month working with them, we converted $1 million. And that was only
I'm sorry, I want to jump in. I hate to do that.
Becky.
The FIG team. Okay, you guys may not know it as the FIG team. This is Veronica Figuerella, is one of the most influential agents and attractors at EXP, guys. She's the real deal. So for her to partner with Angelique, this is like, she's up there with Jean and Brent. She's somebody you need to know. So I just want to give kudos.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Veronica.
Top teams.
Veronica saw the play. She saw that her clients, her realtors were working with me, called me in, I presented, and she launched it in her entire organization. And we keep converting. It's unbelievable. I have forms that can create automations for you guys, which is a form that you can fill out. I call clients, I get on the phone, we do emails, there's automation. There's a lot of clients that don't use email. So we can also go unconventional through text message, through phone calls. Whatever it is that we need to do to get the client to the signing table and give them that white glove service, because that's what we need.
Love it.
Right? White glove service, because we're nurturing relationships. This one lead is going to become your best friend, my best friend, and they're going to refer more business. One lead with me ends up turning into 5.
How cool is that,
It's
guys?
never less than that, 5. And what if you have, like, for instance, with Miraris over at the FIG team, she's one of their highest sellers. She connected me with a woman who was at church, in her church, And I converted her in 3 months. And sure enough, she introduced me to another woman who was a part of a mega church and wants to buy a $1.9 million house. You can't make this up. And she has credit challenges. Guess what? That lead goes to Medaris once I convert.
Excellent. I love this. And again, I try to bring value to you guys every week. And when we met, I said, please, what can you do? I moved some speakers around to get her on this call.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I also want you to know the partnerships that you have here with Evelyn now too. Because when I first said to Angelique, oh, I have a mortgage person on my call every single week who shows up. Her name's Evelyn. And Evelyn, give a shout out because you're huge. Tell everybody where you're licensed. Put your phone number in the chat. You guys need partners. And I guarantee you, Evelyn and Angelique can help you get these deals done. Because you were concerned at first. You said, oh, not every mortgage person.
Oh, yes. I've been shunned a few times by mortgage brokers because they have the thought of a credit repair company. And no, don't throw me in that category. I am an educator. I'm an empowerer. I empower people. It's different, right? So yes, I do. I've had some experiences, but I give everyone an opportunity.
I promised you, and I hope I delivered with Evelyn. I said, Evelyn's not going to be
You
that.
absolutely did. And everyone here, thank you so much, everyone, for your time. I greatly appreciate you. And if you want to speak with me privately to see how you can activate your unqualified buyers pipeline, white glove service for me to be your concierge, creditsnitch.com, book an appointment with me. I'm happy to help you any way I can. Thank you for having me, Peggy. You're the best.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. Make it a great
Bye,
week.
everyone.
Got a great guest next week, too. Take care. Thanks, Angelique. Bye, Dee Dee.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Thank you for this. This was fabulous. So wake up call. Hi,
Hey,
Samia.
Samia. I
Samia.
miss you.
It's been so long.
Yeah, I'm back.
Hi.
How
Aw,
are you? Angelique's calling me now, so I'm gonna
okay.
hang up. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Peggy. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.